यही अरज है बारंबार, एक बार तो आ जाओ। श्री कृष्ण करो कृपा, अब दरस दिखा जाओ। प्यासी है मेरी अखियाँ, छवि तेरी निहारन को। प्यासी है मेरी अखियाँ, छवि तेरी निहारन को। झलक अपनी दिखा अपनी, अब प्यास बुझा जाओ। श्री कृष्ण करो कृपा, अब दरस दिखा जाओ। तेरी ये लगन लगी जब से होश संभाला, तेरी लगन लगी जब से, एक आस को दिल तर से। तुम मेरे हो इतना विश्वास दिला जाओ। तुम मेरे हो इतना विश्वास दिला जाओ। श्री कृष्ण करो कृपा, अब दरस दिखा जाओ। सुनो मेरी भी अब पुकार, तेरे दर्शन की इंतजार। सुनो मेरी भी अब पुकार, तेरे दर्शन की इंतजार। आ जाओ कृष्ण मुरार, मुझे पार लगा जाओ। आ जाओ कृष्ण मुरार, मुझे पार लगा जाओ। श्री कृष्ण करो कृपा, अब दरस दिखा जाओ। दिन रात यही एक धुन, कैसे हो तेरा दर्शन। दिन रात यही एक धुन, कैसे हो तेरा दर्शन। क्यों मुझसे खफा हो तुम, इतना तो बता जाओ। श्री कृष्ण करो कृपा, अब दरस दिखा जाओ। बन कर तेरा ही किंकर, बड़ा चाह ये लेकर। बन कर तेरा ही किंकर, बड़ा चाह ये लेकर। अपने हाथों से हमें आकर के उठा जाओ। अपने हाथों से हमें आकर के उठा जाओ। श्री कृष्ण करो कृपा, अब दरस दिखा जाओ। श्री कृष्ण करो कृपा, अब दरस दिखा जाओ।
नमस्कार मनी जी, रेखा जी।
नमस्कार भैया।
नमस्कार
भाई साहब।
नमस्कार भैया।
सबको नमस्कार।
प्रदीप, विनोद जी।
नमस्कार सभी को, नमस्कार, प्रणाम।
नमस्कार
जी नमस्कार भाई साहब, सभी को नमस्कार।
देवेन जी
प्रणाम भैया, सभी को प्रणाम।
नमस्कार। रश्मि जी, गौतम, अर्पिता, अरुण।
प्रणाम भैया जी, सभी को प्रणाम।
नमस्कार पूनम जी। हेलो एरी, वॉरेन। नमस्कार गीता, मनीष, मधु।
संजीव।
नमस्कार जी, सबको नमस्कार।
नमस्कार भैया।
नमस्कार।
नमस्कार नमस्कार भानु लक्ष्य। नमस्कार रंजीत।
नमस्ते भैया।
नमस्कार अरुण। नमस्कार मधु। So Raghunath ji, I think one thing I totally agree, the whole program this weekend, I think we should just dedicate to, prayers and support and energy to the world to fight the coronavirus. I think that's what the time is asking for.
I don't have a huge contact list, but still, I get so many that it seems like to me that every family is hit. I cannot think of any family that this way or that way is not affected. And especially our Satsang family.
Yeah. Raghunath ji, what's proceed?
I was looking at my old notes. These days, I very seldom, very hard for me to write anything. I don't. So something is strange meaning that the definition of yoga. Yoga is always, we always know that yoga is union with something, union with spirituality. And then I come across this definition of yoga by Raja Ghosh. So he says that Raja Ghosh says that yoga is an attempt to separate the Atman from the non-Atman. So he's talking about separation. He's not talking about unity. It's such a concept. He talks about separation. Yoga is an attempt to separate the Atman from the non-Atman. So what happened? And Ghosh is not, XYZ. He carries a lot of weight. Raja Ghosh. So actually, what seemed that first comes this separation, and only comes after that comes the yoga. After that comes the union. If we have not separated it, then how are we going to have the union? It was such a unique concept. So I'll read you a few words from that. So in the morning, I was talking about the restraint of the mind or the control of the mind follows a reinstallation of one's own self in one's own true nature. The goal of removal of bondage of consciousness, being the ultimate goal, has been achieved through the practice of yoga. So what is yoga? It is the isolation of consciousness from matter, the subject from the object, which Raja Bose says is an attempt to separate the Atman from the non-Atman. So now a few words about how to withdraw the mind from the objects, or rather, how to educate the mind so that it may understand its true relationship with things outside. There is a famous verse in Yoga Vasisht, which is an instruction given by Vasisht ji to his student Bhagwan Ram. The sage says, Do karum chit nasya yogam jnanam charagava. There are only two ways of controlling the mind. Either sever its connection with all things or establish its connection with everything. So there are two ways by which one can control the mind. It is easy to understand something about the benefits that would follow from the withdrawal of mind from all things. And that's the path of yoga. But it is not so easy to know the advantage of connecting the mind of everything, the path of knowledge. The result, however, is the same in either case. There is an anecdote about Shankaracharya, which is kind of relevant here. It is said that the Acharya was in his kutir and the door was closed. One of his disciples came and knocked. Who is that? Asked the Acharya. I, was the answer. Thundered the Acharya from within. Oh, I, either reduce it to zero or expand it to infinity. This I in every individual should either be reduced to zero or expanded to infinity. Either will do. In one method, the modifications of mind are restrained by a negative withdrawal of the operations from everything that appears as external. The other method involves the philosophical visualization of the mind's basic identity with all things. The earlier method, mainly the restraint of the mind stuff, is the main instruction according to Patanjali. Guru Maharaj prefers this method. So, this Raja Bhoja's comment that yoga is the separation. But our Guru Maharaj prefers the Patanjali method rather than the method that says expand it to infinity. And Shankaracharya did give us an option. He said, either reduce it to zero or expand it to infinity.
So result is the same.
Yes, sir. The result is the same. But expanding it to infinity is kind of difficult, tough. So that's the path of knowledge. Where our Guru Maharaj gave something simple. Not to have that kind of headache.
The technical team is asking for a few more minutes. So Raghunath ji, how to meditate या इसी को थोड़ा और expand कर दीजिए, whichever prefer
Okay. See,
for both.
see, Guru Maharaj told us, which is based on his own experience, and scientific method. If we do the same experiment under the same conditions, result has to be the same. So if the result is not the same, then we are not doing the experiment the way it was supposed to be done, or we missed it, or missed it somewhere. So the technique that Guru Maharaj gave us, and it's a pretty what you call straightforward, pretty straightforward. So he tells us that after sitting that envision. He's not saying, he said, envision that the divine light. Okay, so what we are doing here is that we are sitting there and just looking at that thing. Just okay, that the divine light is coming to us, and through that divine light, it's the Guru's power, Guru's energy, Guru's strength that's penetrating into us. So that's what he tells us. Envision that the divine light is coming in front of you, and the light that Guru Maharaj is talking about, telling us, is not ordinary light, because he takes us very, very far, very high up. We see objects in light, but he is talking about the light which lights the light, that divine light. And through that divine light, he takes us to ultimate. Ultimate meaning that when we get immersed in that light, then the duality is gone. There's no subject, no object. Duality is completely gone. It's even beyond the. It's even beyond the Vedanta of what Shankaracharya talks about, because it's not one. It's as long as there's one, there has to be a second. What Guru Maharaj tells us, that you getting immersed in that light, that everything is lost. The light itself is there. That's it. And and then again he says at one place, which is kind of not kind of easy for everybody to understand. He says that darkness really has no existence of its own. Darkness really has no existence of its own. You cannot find darkness in the glow of a searchlight. Remove the searchlight and darkness will creep in. So he tells us that he's telling us that keep that searchlight always. Then there will be no darkness. That divine light that he tells us to concentrate upon, meditate upon. It's in its simplicity. It's so simple, but if somebody tries to analyze it and goes through the eyes of Satsang and Vedanta, then he can spend his lifetime trying to understand it. So
बता दें शुरू करें.
yeah. So now we will do the We'll do the process as told to us by Guru Maharaj. Please sit in a relaxed posture, a posture in which you can stay without moving for say about 25-30 minutes. Close your eyes lightly. The reason we are closing it lightly that if we close it hard, then it's going to put a pressure on us and our balance will be lost. So close your eyes lightly and envision that the divine light of God, who is synonymous with Guru, is coming in front of you, penetrating your heart area. Your heart is getting illuminated and you're slowly getting immersed in that light. We'll have two prarthana and Bhandara. And we'll continue to do this process till we are asked to stop.
पाते पाते गुरु पितु माता सब जगत त्राता मनुज रूप नर नागर हे गुण हे निराकार प्रभु निरवय निगम निरंजन तुम्ही अव्यक्त तुम्ही हो सतचित आनंद रूप विभो गुणागार गोतीत अगोचर अनुभव गाम्य आज्ञेय प्रभु सबके स्वामी अंतर्यामी पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर हे करुणा सागर सब गुण आगर सतचित प्रेम निकेतन हे जगन्नायक विश्वविनायक हे जगजीवन हे जनक हे दुख भंजन जन मन रंजन जय जय त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।
So from one of the discourses of my father, Param Pujya Dr. Narendra Kumarji, so he said, I read a Bodh Katha. These are stories about Buddha written by his disciples. So this one described an island in the sea where shipwrecks were frequent. This particular island was home of Yakshinis. So whenever there was a wreck, the sailors will sought refuge on the island, and these Yakshinis would transform themselves into beautiful women and offer every care and attention to the sailors. However, they had a tradition that whenever the next shipwreck happened, they would imprison the previous group of sailors and then devour them at night. It so happened that amongst the sailors enjoying the hospitality on the island, there was a small group of people, and one person in particular who sensed the danger and tried to convince the others to escape. Only a few of the sailors were convinced because most of them were simply absorbed by the pleasures. The small party of sailors managed to reach the shores of the island, and they were now hoping for a rescue. As they were waiting, it transpired that Lord Buddha came over in the form of a cloud and offered to save the group by taking them back to their homelands. The sailors agreed, and then Lord Buddha transformed into a horse and told the sailors, "Come and sit upon me and find any space, grasp whatever part you are able to hitch the ride." Some were able to hang by the neck, others by the legs, and a few were not able to trust the horse. And as a result, their grasp weakened and they fell in the sea. The other sailors who were able to hold on were taken back to their homes and were able to live happily afterwards. It is said so the above Bodh Katha in fact demonstrates the circumstances affecting humans. A lot of us are similar to the sailors, and in that we often are engrossed in the pleasures of the world without regard to what peril may befall on us in the future. However, just as in the story above, there are spiritual saints who are able to help us escape the perils of this life and can bring and take us to the blissful home. And this is possible through sadhana or guided meditation. There are two types of sadhanas, and to understand the concept, one can imagine a multi-story building with several staircases leading to the rooftop. Those who are willing to reach the rooftop can do so by ascending one of the staircases. However, there are others who halfway up give up because sometimes some of them are uncertain of their goal, and some say that this is not working, so let's try the other staircase. only to become more confused again and waste even more time trying to figure out which staircase to take. Similarly, if we are to reach our spiritual goal, we will need to focus on one process, continue to make progress on the chosen path, and continue that process, with all the might. Now, in one process, the practitioner ascends one step at a time, experiencing and witnessing all that occurs during that ascent. However, at times these experiences can result in a bolstered ego. Unfortunately, developing such an ego may cause the practitioner to lose their progress, which is pretty much the same as stumbling and falling back on the stairs. Another hurdle faced is that when blissful experience of powers are gained as a result of ascending the spiritual path, the practitioner may become enamored and stop their ascent at a certain stage. Yet another scenario can appear when the spiritual guide offers help to ascend rapidly. The practitioner, needs to understand that he needs to have that trust to succeed. Guru Maharaj said that the process of our sadhana is such that practitioners' eyes are covered during the guided ascent to avoid distractions or experiences, and in one example that he took, Rinpoche Papaji said that in our process of guided meditation, Guru Maharaj takes the practitioner high up, with the covered eyes, and then lets the visions and experiences that one is able to witness while making a descent from a higher vantage point are the same as one would experience in a sequence while making an ascent to the same destination. So it's like you can climb up or you can be taken up, and then you're asked to see what is down there. So one of the two paths, which is one is of going from ground up, ascending, which is known as Karma Yoga, and the second one is you're taken up and then you descend. That is called Samarpan Yoga. So, however, in Samarpan Yoga, there may be some difficulty in being able to find a true guru who is able to transcend the boundaries between the world of Maya and spiritual bliss. Only such guru is capable of taking the practitioner to the high spiritual vantage point directly at the outset. Alternatively, if the spiritual guide themselves have not reached the highest vantage point, they will not be able to assist the practitioner to their own level and no higher. So it is very difficult for the practitioner to identify, the right guru. It is important for the practitioner to recognize that in Samarpan Yoga, one needs to surrender their own aspirations and desires and follow those of the Guru. As there are some examples, a further obstacle may arise amongst practitioners who have known their Guru for a long time. They may develop an ego, believing that their Guru is favoring them and that they may have a say in their Guru's decisions. Such practitioners may expect other fellow practitioners to start treating them with the same reverence shown to their Guru. Their focus shifts from their Guru to other practitioners and their behavior. Such thoughts interfere with practitioners' progress in concentrating upon a singular focus, and this results in another hurdle. So it's advisable for the practitioner of Samarpan Yoga to keep their Guru in their thoughts at all times, following Guru's instructions if one is to succeed in the guided journey on this path. Somewhere I lost one part, but hopefully. Raghunathji? Actually, I just, what I missed there when they were talking about, taking staircases up this multi-storied building. Papaji, somebody was visiting and somebody, was being explained by Papaji, and he said, we take people up in an elevator, only opening the doors at the final destination. So, like we say that your eyes are covered while you are ascending. So he gave the example that we take people up through the elevator, opens at the destination, and then you can descend down and see where you came and how.
प्रसाद भी आप ही लगवा दें।
So we have the presence. Let's pray for everyone who's being affected by this pandemic, and also for our own spiritual progress. Let's offer prasad and with these prayers. एक भजन के साथ रैप अप करें।
जी तो बहुत दिनों से भानु से कुछ सुना भजन नहीं है।
Actually, I was just thinking about that.
जी जी भैया।
बहुत दिनों से भजन नहीं।
जी एक गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ध्यानमूलं गुरोर्मूर्ति पूजामूलं गुरोर्पदम् मन्त्रमूलं गुरोर्वाक्यम् मोक्षमूलं गुरोर्कृपा गुरुकृपा हि केवलम् गुरुकृपा हि केवलम्। भले हैं बुरे हैं हम तुम्हारे, तुम्हें छोड़ कर हम रहे किस सहारे। भले हैं बुरे हैं हम तुम्हारे, तुम्हें छोड़ कर हम रहे किस सहारे। चला जा रहा है ये जीवन का बेड़ा, चला जा रहा है ये जीवन का बेड़ा, उलझती है लहरें मारे थपेड़ा। डुबा दो भंवर में या कर दो किनारे, तुम्हें छोड़ कर हम रहें किस सहारे। तुम्हें छोड़ कर हम रहें किस सहारे। भले हैं बुरे हैं हम तुम्हारे, तुम्हें छोड़ कर हम रहे किस सहारे। तुम्हारा डुबाना तुम्हारा तिराना, गहन इसका किसी ने न जाना। तुम्हारा डुबाना तुम्हारा तिराना, गहन इसका किसी ने न जाना। दया ये तुम्हारी जिला दे हमारे, तुम्हें छोड़ कर हम रहें किस सहारे। तुम्हें छोड़ कर हम रहें किस सहारे। भले हैं बुरे हैं हम तुम्हारे, तुम्हें छोड़ कर हम रहें किस सहारे। रहा कुछ न अपना, रहा क्या हमारा, रहा कुछ न अपना, रहा क्या हमारा। बिका जिन के हाथों उन्हीं का सहारा। दुतरा के मारे या हंस के दुलारे, दुतरा के मारे या हंस के दुलारे, तुम्हें छोड़ कर हम रहे किस सहारे। तुम्हें छोड़ कर हम रहे किस सहारे। भले हैं बुरे हैं हम तुम्हारे, तुम्हें छोड़ कर हम रहे किस सहारे। तुम्हें छोड़ कर हम रहे किस सहारे। प्रणाम।
नमस्कार भाई साहब, सबको नमस्कार।
Oh, namaskar. We'll reconvene 1:30 tomorrow then, as usual.
हमारा तो भाई
जी,
नमस्कार
नमस्कार भाई
नमस्कार
साहब, सभी को नमस्कार।
नमस्कार
Namaskar,
नमस्कार
Devin ji, Raghunath ji.
नमस्कार भैया, सबको
Namaskar,
नमस्कार।
Mani ji.
सबको नमस्कार।
Namaskar.
सबको नमस्कार
Namaskar,
Night,
Ajay.
Sanjeev. Namaskar.
नमस्कार
Right, Eddie, Warren. Good night.
नमस्ते भैया।
Namaskar.
प्रणाम भैया, सभी को प्रणाम।
Arun.
प्रणाम
Namaskar,
भैया।
Madhu. Namaskar, Ela ji. Namaskar.
प्रणाम भैया।
Namaskar. Namaskar, Vinod bhai sahab.
नमस्कार संजीव जी।
Namaskar, Sona, Ankur.
नमस्कार जी। नमस्ते अंकल जी।
नमस्ते नमस्ते
Namaskar, Gautam, Poonam ji.
सबको नमस्कार।
प्रणाम भैया, सभी को प्रणाम।
Namaskar, Arpita.
तो कल समझ से मुलाकात होगी नमस्कार
Namaskar, Rishikesh, Madhu, Geeta.
नमस्कार जी, सबको नमस्कार।
भैया।
सभी को प्रणाम।
Namaskar, Manish, Rajat, Ranjit.
नमस्कार भैया।
और वीना जी।
नमस्कार भैया सबको
नमस्ते संजीव भैया।
नमस्कार।
नमस्कार।
नमस्कार देवेन जी, विनोद भाई साहब, और नमस्कार।
नमस्कार सबों को फिर से।
नमस्कार भाई साहब, सभी को नमस्कार।
नमस्कार सभी को।
नमस्कार भानु।